Hello, welcome. This is the lesson from page 225 in your book, using the distributive property. And so your essential question is, how do I use the distributive property to rewrite algebraic expressions? I think you've done this before in the past, but it's just a little more complicated now that we throw in a variable. So let me explain. Distributive, I like to think of it as, imagine you're at the grocery store and you're the employee who needs to restock the bags. And so your job is to put bags at the end of each grocery store checkout. And so you're distributing them to each one. That's how I connected in my brain. And so you look at A outside the parentheses and multiply A times B. You get AB. And then you multiply A times C, and then you add. Now, of course, distributive works because you could add what's inside the parentheses first, which is what PEMDAS would do, and then multiply times the A. And so think about distributive property. Since it's a property, it means it's always true. You could do it either way, but with the algebra in this lesson, you have to do it the distributive way instead of the parentheses first. All right, so I would just take a minute and write down that definition. To multiply a sum or a difference by a number, multiply each term inside the parentheses by the number outside the parentheses. All right, so the first one, with distributive, you would say 8 times 9 plus 8 times 4. Of course, PEMDAS would say you could do 9 plus 4 and get 13, and then multiply it times the 8, and you would get the same answer either way. So, step by step, 8 times 9 is 72, 8 times 4 is 32, and then when you add the two together, you get 104. Go ahead and try it if you'd like, but 8 times 13 would be 104 as well. Same thing here. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 3 is 21. And then you'd subtract. And so when you subtract, you get the answer 14. Or if you did it the other way and did 5 subtract 3 and get 2, 2 times 7 is 14 as well. Next we'll be using variables next. All right, so 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 11 is 55, and you cannot combine them any further. They are not like terms. You cannot combine something with a variable and something with a number. Same example here, 7 times y, 7y. Let me get back here. 7 times 9, 63, and then subtract. Again, that's as simple as it can get, so you just leave your answer there. All right, so same exact method, even if they put the single digit out on the right-hand side. So negative 5 times 5, negative 25. Negative 5 times 9, negative 45. And then you would say same sign, add and keep the sign. So you'd have negative 70. Now this one gets a little more complicated. You'd have negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. And then notice, you could do it either way. You could say negative 3 times negative 4 is a positive 12. Or you could say subtract negative 12. And either way, this would still turn to a positive. And so then you'd have negative 24 plus 12. You would change that to a positive. And you'd have negative 12 for your answer. All right, this one, negative 6a times 2b. You would first multiply negative 6a times 2b. You would multiply the coefficient, and then you cannot combine a and b further, so you just keep a and keep b. You'd have negative 12ab, and you would leave it like that. And then you would say negative 6a times a positive 3 negative 18a. And you would leave it like that. You cannot combine it any further. Oops, I didn't block this one ahead of time. That's all right. So we look at the first one, negative 5m times 3n. A negative times a positive is a negative. So you'd have negative 15mn. Here you'd have a negative times a negative, so you'd have a positive 30m. Alright, word problem, not difficult at all. You're to buy fruit for 3 people. They each have an apple, banana, and pineapple. There's the price of each. So you'd, algebraically, yes, you could add them all together first and then say times 3. Or the right way, according to this lesson, is put everything inside the parentheses and then distribute the 3 multiplied times each one. And then you'd have $2.85 here, $1.95 here in the blue, and then $6.75 in the green, and all together the total will be $11.55. All right, here are 2 try to do on your own before class, and that's the end of the video. Great job.